closely. All right, if we look at the amount they're lost, like I say, to cybercrime in 2018, it stands at 29.5 billion shillings. That's a 40% increase from 2017. 8 billion shillings was lost in direct costs. That includes money lost in attacks or ransom paid up to free up the stolen data. Now 20 billion in indirect costs. That involves procurement of equipment and software, training personnel and monitoring systems. But if we look at the main points of access, personal computers were one of the highlighted ones, as there was about 230 million shillings lost through that. The internet and email chains that try to make you give in details of your personal finance accounts, about 100 million shillings lost through that point of access. Let's move on to other points, including hacking transaction channels. That was at about 97 million shillings lost through that. And if we look at identity theft, about 72 million shillings was lost through that. Quite a big, chunk of numbers they're being lost owing to cyber security issues. But still talking about cyber security and cyber crime, the Auditor General, Edward Oko, has called on CEOs to be proactive in their approach to data protection at a time when firms are under threat from cyber criminals. Now, Oko spoke at the launch of the Seriano Cyber Security Report, details of which we just saw, and he painted a grim picture of the industry. Now, Oko further noted that all was not lost, as companies have been scaling up their ICT budgets, but more needs to be done.
We are now at almost $300 million in total losses. Another positive perhaps to point out on an increase in terms of reporting cybercrime to the police, up to by about 11%, with about 7% of that been successfully prosecuted. We saw an increase in targeted ATM attacks, an increase in targeted phishing attacks. For those non-techie in the rooms, phishing is simply another way of stealing or conning, where it's targeted and you're sharing certain information to an individual, to an organization, so as to be able to spur them to do certain things. Indirect costs, and I think this is so important for everyone to pay close attention. Your cost in terms of recovery from a cybersecurity far exceeds your actual losses.
My concerns as regards cybersecurity are who are the perpetrators. These are potential external threats and inside threats. Who in the office is the weakest link in the chain? Who in the office is going to lead the charge to play defense to mitigate these risks? But even with these concerns, it is not always clear who our enemy is and whom we can collaborate with to eliminate the threats. This clearly means that if we try to eliminate these threats, we must clearly see the actors that present the greatest risk, improve cybersecurity awareness, and drive risk awareness culture in the organization. It is therefore imperative that the CEOs concern themselves with a number of issues in cybersecurity. In my case, I'm concerned about the data tampering. It is critical to point out that these concerns have been fueled.
All right, and speaking of cybersecurity, that is our question to you on Twitter. Have you ever been hacked, and how did you respond? Let me know at Malika Kazi, of course, at KTN News KE as well, with that hashtag KTN Business. On that note, we're going to take a short break, but when we come back, we've got the BBC's Money Daily.